else is there now for Travis?
What else?
What are you working on now for yourself?
Well, I think that, because of, all the opportunities that have come as a direct result of, my working with Michael over the years, um, you know, I've found that there is, more opportunity for me to create projects. I learned from him that, is not necessarily the person who's, singing the song, but always also the person who wrote the song, the person who writes the song, the person who holds the rights to the song and the publishing. All of those things matter. So now within my art, I love choreography, no doubt. That has turned into directing opportunities for me, which have turned into producing opportunities for me. And, like Bob Fosse or Kenny Ortega or Debbie Allen or, greats that have come before me, I look forward to, fusing all the things I love together to create properties that also give opportunity to the younger generations.
So, what is that you still want to do? I mean, you worked with some of the greats, and you worked with probably the greatest. What's that?
Well, I mean, just to continue to, use everything I've learned these 20 years I've been in Hollywood, to even go further. You know how much I love Whitney Houston.
Don't we? Don't we?
We talked about that. I, love Las Vegas. I love live shows. I love, what's being done on TV now with some of the dance competitions. I would love the opportunity to have a school, that develops new talent and trains new talent and handles their careers, an academy, as it were. I'm getting offers to go to Israel and, go to Japan. I'll be going there in the next couple of weeks. And, just to continue to not only, really experience all that the world has to offer in the arts that's set aside for me, but, to continue Michael's legacy, and continue sort of promoting his, ideals of peace and harmony and creativity and all of those things that, I've been exposed to since starting with him in '93.
So, we talked about a favorite Michael Jackson songs.
And I also love Earth Song, because that just really, that to me is a signature piece. It talks about all of the messages, and it's, it's aggressive. I love that one too.
Do you think that Michael was before his time?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think like Mozart, like Beethoven, like Da Vinci, these great artists were not understood when they lived. It took civilization time to catch up to their ideals. And I definitely believe that's true of Michael Jackson.
Do you think Michael was fairly treated in the media?
I think that Michael was fairly treated when people perceived him as being on top. But when, people started to do what they could to sort of tarnish his image and reputation and sort of crack away at his legacy, that was definitely unfair. But we all know what that is, and we all know, that water seeks its own level, and, if you're looking for something sensational and, negative, you just, I can put it in perspective. I asked Michael once, I was like, do the things bother you that people write, or do you, ever get, upset? And he's like, no, because that's negative energy, and there's no place for that, and we just have to pray for them. I think that no one really knew the effect that, some things would have on Michael. I mean, we had a conversation about 9/11. He was in New York.
I know.
During 9/11. Yes, because that was
the
30-year anniversary and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so to hear him recount that and talk about, how devastated he was, and, how he's running down the hallway and Elizabeth Taylor's there and he's trying to get everybody into the vans to leave, and, and how deeply he would be affected by things that happen on the other side of the world. People he didn't know, the fact that they were humans, and if there were, you know, younger humans involved. And the thing was that he would never complain. He would never, you know, make it an issue. And he was always, and I would tell him, you know, I would say, sometimes I think people mistake your kindness for weakness. He was like, you're right. And I would tell him that I also felt like, you know, you don't always have to put others' needs before your own, you know, but that was just his nature, and that was the way he did it.
And nobody could change him.
Absolutely.
Nobody could change him.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. But,
wow.
And we were at the house one time on Carrollwood, and, you know, I go to play the music, and he goes, oh, turn it down. And I go, what? He goes, the fans outside will hear. And I go, well, they gotta know you're gonna do Beat It. What's the problem? He was like, well, I want them to be surprised. I was like, but it's Beat It. But I don't want them to know what we're doing. I was like, okay. And so I was like, well, why don't you get, you know, security to go outside and ask them to, you know, just let me pull down the street or, you know. He goes, no, that would be rude. I was like, but you live here. Why can't we play the music? And he goes, well, I want them to be surprised. And I go, okay. And so we were playing the music really low. And then after we finished, he goes outside. He was like, I'm gonna show you what I mean. So he goes outside to the gate, and with the side, you know. And the fans come up, and he starts talking to them, and like, you know, just having conversations.
They're giving him gifts, snapping
and
pictures.
He's just talking, and he's just standing there talking, and you know, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And they said, "What are you guys doing inside?" And he goes, "It's a surprise." And then they're, you know what I mean? So I get it. He was concerned because he knew that the presentation is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they knew exactly what was going on, then people can say, oh, well, they're doing Beat It. It's not a big deal. But because there was still that element of sort of mystery, you know, they were that much more excited.
Was Michael planning to have other artists that he was close with, that he looked up to?
Absolutely.
What was his wish list?
Well,